Hi everyone, Brian from Bear Bull Traders. It is Monday, July the 5th. Of course, we've had the long weekend here. Happy Independence Day to all the U.S. members out there. Hope everybody had a good long weekend. And of course, this is part of the weekend. This is the weekend video happening on a Monday. And we're going to take a look at the week that was and then try to figure out where we're going in this shortened trading week that's coming up here. So let's get down to it. Okay, and before we get going here, as always, put in a quick plug for my book here on Amazon, How to Swing Trade. It's available there if you'd like to check it out. So let's get down to taking a look at the week that was and what we got coming up here. So this is the way kind of things, the way I'm seeing things kind of breaking down here this week. It's pretty apparent the money is not leaving the markets. We've seen the VIX is down and just doesn't appear to be any fear of sell-off. The rates, the yield on the 10-year was down this week. We were down around 1.44%, of course, keeping an eye on that. The transports do look a little broken here. We'll take a look at that chart in a minute. And again, as far as the indexes go, Q's had a great week this week, up almost over 2.5%, all-time high. S&P up over 1.5%, all-time high. Dow hitting an all-time high too, only up 1%. The interesting index that didn't do as well was the IWM, and we continue to sort of look like we're putting in some sort of toppy action there. It's just having trouble breaking through a range, and we'll take a look at that in a minute. So as far as the week ahead goes, we do have Fed minutes on Wednesday. I think that's going to be a bit of a yawner. This really isn't much coming up this week that's really on the radar. We do have a really light earnings report week this week. Really not much of any note, but next week we're kicking it back into gear all over again. We get the banks starting out and things will ramp up from there. So quick look at all these indexes. Again, the charts. You can see here the TLT, again, prices up, yields down. So you can see here we had a pretty strong week here for the bond, which means that was a down week for the yields, and we'll see that reflected in the next chart. See the 10-year yield. You can see we're still in a bit of a downtrend. We definitely have broken this uptrend, and at first it looked like we were putting in an ABCD pattern, but again couldn't break out to a new high. In fact, put in a lower high, and now we just continue to put in lower highs. So looks like we're kind of drifting lower, which of course is good for the markets. The stochastics are looking like they're going to turn here, but again, RSI still is just above 50 and looks like it's heading below it. So I suspect we're going to be stuck in this range here. And as long as we stay sort of below this 1.8%, we should be okay for the markets. Again, transport's really putting in a series of lower highs here. We do look like we're trying to break trend. We're back at this moving average here. Couldn't get through it on Friday. So it looks like, again, the transports, like to watch the transports because they do sort of foretell what the Dow is doing. Again, on a weekly basis, we're still holding this moving average. So really on a weekly basis, we haven't lost trend yet, but we're flirting with it, and the volume is up. So keep an eye on this week. Could be a bit of a flag on the track, although nothing does look like it's going to derail this market. Here's the Dow on the daily. You can see here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, really nice all up days. And on a week, again, right at all-time high. I think we just touched above it there. Volume a little light, but again, we were going into a holiday long weekend, so probably a little bit lighter volume as we went through Friday there. Again, Dow looking strong, and here's the Qs, of course, breaking out all-time high. As long as those interest rates stay down, I think the Qs will remain strong. There's nothing here in this chart that says we're ready to roll over. And on a weekly basis, you can see here we've definitely broken out and just continuing higher. The SPY, sort of same story here. Really good week. Picked it up and just kept going. Again, money is not leaving the market here. And you can see again, SPY breaking out all-time high on a weekly basis. So trend is a friend, and it's still up. This is the IWM. Obviously, you can see here we are struggling to get above this this high that was back in March. Couldn't get challenged and couldn't get through it there. Challenged again, couldn't get through it there. And again, a down day on Friday despite the rest of the market indexes being up. So you can see here again, this is this kind of choppy action. The only thing you can say about it is we do seem to be making some higher lows here. So you've got a low, bit of a higher low, maybe a bit of a higher low here, higher low here. So maybe we are going to break out this week. Again, volume a little bit lackluster. The dollar, we had this big surge here. Now we tried to break out again, and we're into some area that's going to probably be some resistance. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. Volume was up day before, Thursday, and then Friday. Still pretty strong volume, and we do look like we're rolling over. So maybe we're going to get a little bit weaker here. The VIX, as I mentioned earlier, just right down in the basement. No fear in the market. And Bitcoin just seems to be consolidating in this range. If I was to look at this chart, I almost see a pennant here. You can see here's your top line, and here's your bottom. So you can see here we're kind of narrowing into a very narrow price range, and I'd be watching for a break out of this narrowing price range. RSI is below 50. Stochastics look like they are rolling over, so it actually looks like, if I was going to guess right now, this is going to break to the downside. But again, when you're dealing with a formation like that, you always wait for confirmation of a breakout of one of those trend lines. Never try to anticipate, because you just don't know for sure which way they're going to go. Take a quick look at some of the holdings here. Still holding on to Airbnb. Just looking like it's going to break out here. It's kind of stalled around this 150 to 155 level. I'd love to see a close above 155. I may add to the position if we can actually break out above that, because that does seem to be an area of significant resistance. And I'm holding some DBC still, this commodity Invesco ETF. You can see here having a nice run up, and I think it's going to continue to go higher. Ford still got those calls. It's again very narrow trading range in the last 3 days, just basically a bunch of indecision candles. You can see here the volume really dropping off on Ford, but I am hoping for another push later in the year. Have some long dated calls. ICLN, again, no real traction here. You can see a bunch of very thin indecision candles. I'll watch for that to break one way or another. MSOS, this 420 trade. Again, just looking for this to break out of this area. This is a pretty significant area of congestion with a lot of sales in this area. Buys and sells, we can get above here. I think we'll have a nice run on that one. And Willow finally picking it up a little bit here, still holding that position for people that are asking me about that. On watch, still watching Fubo. I'm thinking maybe we're going to get a reversal here now. It's back down into an area where we had some support. Maybe we can push higher on it. So I'll be keeping an eye on that one for the rest of the week. Gold does look like it's trying to put in a bottom here. We had a bottom, we had a false breakdown, and then maybe a pullback. So I'll be looking to possibly start a position again on gold with a stop around. Can use a stop around 34 maybe. So we'll see how that behaves the rest of as the week goes on. And you can see the RSI we're starting to pick up here. Stochastics are starting to climb, so I do like the way the indicators are all pointing to a move higher on the GDX. That's some miners. GE, I'm waiting for a bit of a pullback here. I think that's going to be maybe a good entry for a long dated call as well. See how it trades on Monday. GHVI is one of our traders mentioned to me. I already did play this little pop a bit, so, and I'm out of it now, so I'm looking for this pullback. There's a event coming up, I think taking over, it's a SPAC. They're taking over something later in July, so maybe look for another pop on that one as that date gets closer. So looking for another entry on that one. PLTR, again, looked like it was going to break out, and now it's really pulled back here. So we are back into an area of support. If it can hold 24, maybe we'll get a bounce again. But again, stochastics, when they start trading below 50, rallies tend to fade. So that's not a good looking indicator there. And you can see here, plug. Again, it looks like we might be just stuck in a range, although I'd be watching for it to hold the 20 moving average. Peloton, a break above and hold above 125 here, could be a breakout trade. SoFi looks like it's putting in a double bottom here, and this is an area there's been some pretty significant resistance. So resistance has now become support. So if it can hold 18 tomorrow, I'll be looking at it for a possible long. And oil just continues to go higher, and I think it will continue. That and natural gas. Natural gas has been looking really good too lately. And again, Viacom just holding on to these moving averages here. If we can break and hold above the 45 level, it could be good for another run higher up to, say, even 50. So a quick look at the candles at a glance here for the different sectors. Again, you can see the SPY breaking out here. Right along with it, the discretionaries. I guess still a lot of people feeling there's a lot of pent-up demand for all sorts of things that are discretionary-based spending, so they are going higher. Communications and technology obviously having a good day Thursday and Friday, breaking out with the interest rates lower. Industrials do look like they're going to try to come back here. Materials look like they're bottoming, might be an interesting trade. If it can hold this 82 level, I'll see what it does on Monday. Energy's been pretty choppy lately, so again, the oil price is going up. It's just the energy sector. Most of this is the large cap holdings like Exxon and Chevron are all in this ETF, so they seem to be struggling a bit while oil still continues to go higher. Staples, a lot less attractive than the discretionary. You can see healthcare had two pretty good days back to back here, putting that together. Utilities are down. Financials, again, they look like they've gotten maybe back through the 200 days, so maybe they're ready to break out again. But just remember, we do have earnings are starting up next week. A lot of financials will be coming out next week. And yeah, real estate just sort of chopping along here. So let's wrap things up here with the pre-market, what things are looking like for the morning. You can see here the Dow's up again. What a surprise. SPY looking like a pretty flat open right now. Nasdaq's actually down a little bit, although it's nothing consequential. And the Russell, the IWM, is up fractionally again, pretty non-consequential. So the Dow looking the strongest right now. The rest of the index is looking pretty flat. You can see here oil's up another $1.50. Nat gas up another 2.75% here. It's up 10 cents, but that's a significant percentage increase. Gold's up 15. This is moving up since I've been watching it. It's almost doubled. It was around $8 last time I looked at it. And silver looking strong as well. So yeah, gold and silver are actually maybe starting to look interesting. You can see here on the treasuries, 10-year just inching up a fraction, the shorter end of the curve, the 3-month and 2-year down a bit, but nothing earth-shattering either here. So yeah, interesting. Oil up, watch for strength in oil, watch for some strength in those metals. And as long as the Treasuries don't move around too much, we should be good with the indexes continuing to go higher. So that's it, everyone. We'll wrap it up there. And of course, at 8 o'clock, we'll have Jared doing the pre-market show, or at least the engineering the market show at 8 o'clock live on YouTube. And then, of course, again, live on YouTube, we'll have Norman Carlos taking us through the pre-market show, movers and shakers in the market. And then, of course, we'll be continuing on the market open with myself and Andrew. So we'll look forward to seeing you at one of all those events. And have a great rest of the evening, everybody. Bye for now.